All rise. Pledge of Allegiance.
Recording in progress.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right.
First item, can I ask for an apology?
Yes.
I
Yes?
apologize.
All right. Apology
I
is
second.
granted. All in favor, say aye. So apologies for the late start of the meeting. Trustee Doniker was engaged otherwise, and Trustee Rebecca Smith is at a memorial service for her father-in-law. So we send our thoughts and prayers to that family, the Smith family. So I would like a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes of July 11th.
Make the motion.
Second?
We'll
Any-
just keep back and forth.
Any questions, comments, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. At this point, we'll open it up for public comment. Seeing no public comment, we will close public comment. Report of DPW, I would like to state that Mr. Blanchard is sick and will be out for a few days, and so I don't have his monthly report in hand, but I do have some updates, and that is the paving on Elm Lake Road will begin in September. The bathhouse and pavilion remodeling that we designated excess salary from the lifeguards, and that was approximately, Crystal, help me remember, about $3,500. And the estimates that we're looking at right now are coming in at about $2,200, so we are within budget. What we are looking for is to begin with cleaning the lights and fan, purchasing multi-toilet paper roll dispensers. So each bathroom down at the beach house and in the pavilion will have one roll each. And they are going to, they had discussed the use of high flush toilets down there, but there's no need. They're working pretty well, but those will be replaced with 3 low water usage toilets. The pavilion bathroom, which is currently a 2-stall and 1 door lock, and it's unisex, will be converted to a single stall, and that the extra space will be converted into a storage unit, and that will be used to store ice skates, hockey equipment, that sort of stuff for better access than what we currently have. So I think that'll be a great update. They will also clean the lights and fan over in the pavilion, change that towel dispenser to airflow, and again with the roll dispensers. As many of you know, the grinder pump for the pavilion kind of gets into trouble if there are too many people using it and there's an overuse of it. So that is being evaluated, and again, there would be a low water usage toilet. And then in addition, a new vent will be put in there into the pavilion and a new door. In addition to that, we are installing the 6 to 8 toilet paper roll dispensers within the firehouse bathrooms, and we'll put 2 of those in each bathroom. So instead of 6 to 8, they'll have 12 to 16 rolls of toilet paper, because those are used all the time. And we will remove the vinyl floor tiles and paint the cement floors with garage floor paint, make it a little bit easier to go in and out. Faucets will be replaced with automatic shut-off faucets. No electrical wiring is required. Those will be battery operated. So hopefully that should all be done by mid-September, okay? So the next thing with DPW is that we have estimates for mowers. We have not had the opportunity to chat with Roger as to which one he thinks is best, but I will tell you that mowers that are not zero turn, commercial mowers, range anywhere from 3,400 up to 3,800. The 3,400 one is a 48-inch Husqvarna from Rick Swift. The other two are 52 inches, so a little bit bigger, and those are a Cub Cadet and a John Deere. Zero-turn mowers were also priced out, both at, or all three at 52-inch decks, and those are a lot more. Those range from $6,899 up to $7,099. So I think Roger was leaning more towards the smaller ones that he could get in and out of places a little more easily. In addition, with DPW, they will be prepping the park area for the concert in the park that is being very well attended. So they'll be doing that tomorrow and the day after, and they will also be distributing stone crusher run and stone McComas Tower to finish up that site work. Okay. That's all I have on DPW. And we wish Roger a speedy recovery. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So there is staffing. So as we had talked about the last time, the interim position was not accepted. We have had word that the employee who was out on disability continues to be out on disability, and has used up all vacation and sick time. And so I would like to propose that we hire a full-time employee with the thought that by next year we will have one of our DPW fellows retiring. So he's made that clear that next year he'll be leaving. So I think it would behoove us to bring someone on board, get them trained up. This would be a position that we would post for village maintainer. So I would like a motion to post for that position and then interview and see if we can get someone on board. So Cindy makes that motion and Jim seconds. Any comments or questions?
And that's, we're able to pay for that because of the disability and.
Yes, correct. So right now, that employee will get us a doctor's note one way or another in September. So all in favor of posting for a full-time position of DPW maintainer, say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. And so if you would kindly post that on the website and the paper as soon as possible, that would be fantastic. Thank you. All right, treasurer's report. Clerk O'Brien.
All right, I'm gonna try and go through this quickly. The AUD is on track to be submitted by Friday. My New York State Municipal Clerk Institute online classes last week, they were Monday through Wednesday in the morning. They were very informative and interesting. The first session of each day were interconnected and were instructed by the same person. They were digital transformation over open government and smart communities. And I took away a lot of great ideas to both better our workflow in here, but also hopefully for things we can do out in the community, in the village. The second session on Monday was records management, which was mostly a refresher that helped to give me more ideas to continue better organization within the village, or within the village hall and the other departments. For example, we should probably have a inventory of all of our records, including the store departments, and then we should have which is wording on my brain.
Oh, cabinets.
Yes.
Additional cabinets.
Additional cabinets, and we should be moving away from the paper boxes. They recommend not using the paper boxes anymore, or the cardboard boxes anymore, and moving towards, we do have metal shelving in the back, in the storeroom, so that's good. But they do suggest moving away from cardboard boxes. I'm assuming for like flammability and stuff like that reasons, I don't know, maybe preservation of the records. Especially our historical records that would be forever. Also to have a plan for like a laid out structure of how we file, not only in this building, but in the other departments as well. No.
File cabinets don't work?
File cabinets would work, we would just need to purchase more.
Yeah, we have, I believe it's 6 filing cabinets back there, and then the 2 up here, and a few in, the map.
Planning board,
So it would just be, moving some of our documents into there, but we have a nice, layout now in this records room now, back here.
Yeah,
And it's easy, we can walk in there and go, okay, what kind of document do we need? Do we need like, there's all financial stuff on the side, and then there's all historical stuff in the middle, and then pretty much everything else you can think about is on the other side. Water, sewer, all of, the general A through Z files are all on the other side. So
it's really well organized.
yeah,
And they cleared out.
You did it, I remember that was well accomplished already.
So it's just more of, I know that they make more, durable boxes, so maybe I was gonna look into that. Instead of getting full filing cabinets for like the minutes and, the other historical documents on there.
What about the issue of going digital going forward?
It is a good idea to go digital, to, put all of our, especially our historical records on. It's just a really big undertaking, and we'll have to, and
Cost.
it's a big undertaking for us if we did it in-house, and it's very expensive to have somebody come in and do it. So we gotta weigh those two. I've been starting to scan the minutes, so every time I have a little bit of extra time, a few extra hours, that I don't have anything that's pressing, I'll take one of the minute books and I'll start scanning them, but, so that we have those in there, on the computer as well as in, paper format.
So we have made good strides as far as getting, how far back do we go now? 7 years, I think, with minutes, 6 or 7 years, if not more.
Minutes have to be kept forever.
No, I know they have to be kept forever, digital minutes. So
Oh, no,
scanning,
we have a
we've
lot.
gone back more than that.
Yes.
So there's a significant number of years, and we're working on getting all the former laws in there as well.
So now, when you do that, do you end up marking what is digitalized as well as what's just paper?
Well, we haven't marked I haven't marked out. I need to make maybe just a regular spreadsheet or whatever that shows
Okay.
what we have both digital and paper.
Yep.
That'll be with like our master list of what we have for files.
Okay.
That's also a big undertaking, but something that, that I've written down and keep working on. The second day, Tuesday, the second session on Tuesday was on empathy, which is helpful for working with both the public and other employees. Jeanette and I had a conversation about that.
Yes, we did.
And then the second session on Wednesday was on FOIL requests, which is the Freedom of Information Law. And mostly that was just a refresher, and then any updates that have been, that have come about in the last couple of years. I pretty much do the FOIL one almost every year just to make sure there's nothing that.
It always changes a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and there was a lot of different things, especially with like the police reform stuff and there's certain, they've modified some things with like what is technically not accessible information, like redactable information and what's not. So that was
interesting.
good to listen to. Plus it was interactive. There was only 22 people in the class altogether, so every class was interactive and there was lots of discussion, so that was good too.
Very good.
Lots of different input on that. I forgot one of the papers. Let me go back to the
Then the last session I think you talked about was smart communities.
Yeah, that was with the other,
In the context of the other things, making things more accessible to the public, making sure that they have access to things. And Crystal and my discussions, the village of Speculator is in the 21st century. So we do have things available online. We do have ready access to things. We do post minutes and laws.
We're doing a good job on, balancing between having our, like having in-house, options as well as having digital online options.
I mean, and part of it is the sheer fact that we still have access through Zoom, even though we're not necessarily required to now. We give our public greater ability to access our meetings and interact with us, so.
And with the digital transformation of the government and smart communities, a lot of it was not just, technological, but a lot of it was in being inclusive and participation with not only like the local government as the local government, but also with the community and with the people who live and visit and all of that. So there's a lot of different things about that. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah. The other question would be, do we know from outside sources, like this is being recorded? Do we ever get information as to how many people go into this? And
Yeah, I can see, I admit people to come into the meeting. So I post the meeting information on the, well, I send it out to a few people that have requested to have it sent out to them, but I also post it on the event on our calendar.
Okay.
So, and then when they come into the meeting, I have to admit them to the meeting.
But Declan Radio tracks how many hits we get as well.
Oh, yeah, Declan Radio after
Oh,
he.
they track the hits?
Yes.
Yes,
That's all I
after
know.
he puts it on, after he broadcasts it, then,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
he tracks how many people.
And
Yes.
do they convey that information to us?
No, but we can ask.
Yeah.
We should get 6-month updates or something.
Well, and I mean, if we go on his YouTube,
We can
look-
see that as well.
On YouTube, you can look at the video and see how many views there's been.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
So I think the other thing that I wanted you to point out before we go to the motion to approve the abstract and the financial report is about the update to cybersecurity.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mayor, if you can hear me.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's Declan Radio.
Yep, this is Declan Radio.
Yes.
Just to comment on what you were saying, if you would like, I can put together a report of some sort on
That would be great.
YouTube thing and send it to you.
Yeah, that would be great. Even if we did it quarterly or every 6 months, that would be great. Quarterly? Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
All right. Would you just want me to back up to the beginning of this year and then kind of do first quarter, second quarter? Okay,
That'd be
I can do that
perfect.
for you.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Gary.
No problem.
All right.
We need to have the capacity.
Yeah.
yes.
That is the 21st century.
We do live in a community that, like many of the people, like many of the Adirondack, towns and villages and, also a lot of people that I spoke to, we had, breakout rooms, so there were different groups that went out and talked together. They, there was a lot of other communities that are a smaller population with having a hard time getting internet access, like good internet access and self-service. Like we're a little bit better off than some,
Gotcha.
surprisingly, which is great. And then we also live in a community where we have an older generation and a younger generation that we have to think about what we're like, think about giving what the older generation needs, whether they want to be able to have access to online services or not, or in person, so keeping our doors open, because a lot of places are going to fully closed offices and being virtual all the time.
Wow.
So, yeah, we just don't, I don't ever see that being, and it's not very personable either. So, it's a nice, we're creating a nice balance,
Yep.
I feel like, of the two.
Yep, no, I think that's great.
I got a new quote earlier and I was trying to find it.
Okay.
Um,
Did that include the firehouse?
it did include the firehouse. Right.
Okay. Can you talk and look at the same time, or?
Yeah, okay, so the next, okay. The next thing is updating cybersecurity for the village hall here, DPW, wastewater treatment plant, and the firehouse. This security system, so they would like us to upgrade to a better firewall that has advanced synchronized security, so it communicates with our antivirus software. So if there is ever a breach or a virus on the computer, that it will deny access for one, so that nothing is, it'll lock the computer up basically, so that nothing can be taken from that. And it will, help us from being able to, or possibly ever having a breach.
It will protect us from being electronically hostage?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Malware.
That is what it will do. The big ones are with the security cameras, like the top, what is it, the top two, like.
The top two
vulnerable
access
areas.
points, yeah,
Access points
vulnerable
are-
access points that people
Cameras.
forget to update.
Yeah, our cameras and.
Cameras and printers, right,
Oh,
yep,
And
to
as a
update
local-
drivers and things.
And as a local government, we don't have a large amount of personal information on the computers, but, I feel like it would be best to keep it as
Good.
cyber, like as secure as possible. We were originally just gonna, go forward and do the DPW and the water treatment plant. But they said that we should probably upgrade the village halls as well, to this better, firewall system. And then while Jenna and I were talking about it, we realized that the fire department probably needs to upgrade theirs as well. So they put together a quote for us. It does come to, the final quote comes to a little bit over $10,000 for all of them. Yeah, it's a little over $10,000. I have it budgeted within the village hall budget, for computer services, to upgrade here. The DPW, has, budgeted office supplies that we can use 1,000 out of there, and then we have, contingencies available, $5,000 in contingencies available.
So their portion is approximately $3,000,
Yeah, their
two and a half,
portion,
3,000.
It's about $30,000. So the upgrading the system here is actually the least expensive because we have the better system.
Yeah.
So upgrading this one is less expensive.
It's like $400
About
left, right?
different.
Comment about that. I think Wade Hartman, one of our firemen and ambulance people, this is his business, isn't it?
He does some cybersecurity, yes.
Yeah, so, have we ever,
Well,
The reason we work with ABS is because they're a government,
okay.
IT, they do government IT services,
Gotcha.
so, they do like the, city of Albany and a whole bunch of other
Gotcha.
towns and
All right.
villages and.
right, and there is a primer for cybersecurity that is available that I'll be sending out to you. So it's about 30 pages, a primer, just so that you understand cybersecurity for government and what's required, what they look for, what they act on. And then Crystal and I were speaking as well that we really need to work with ABS to have a cyber incident response plan. So God forbid something happens, what do? Make sure that we have the right backups available. So if someone attacked us today, put into ransomware, what are our backups? Can we keep going? Are our accounts safe? Are our, all that stuff. So, yes.
Yes, So the village hall here is about $2,500 to upgrade. And then the garage, the wastewater treatment plant, and the fire department are all $3,260 a piece around that. Like, that's what the estimated price is, that includes labor. So.
And
whether they-
installation, yeah.
Yeah, installation, so whether they are up here installing, whether it takes them as long as they think it might take them, is a different story.
And they tend to overestimate.
Yeah, they tend to
Right.
overestimate in
So it
case
may-
they run into a
Should be
problem.
less, right. So this afternoon, trustee Cindy Rumsey and I sat with, some members of the fire department, 2 members of the fire department, and had broached that subject to see where we could, take budgeted monies, and see where we could pay for that.
Okay, are they okay with doing?
Well, we didn't have an estimate yet, but
Oh,
they
you didn't
were,
go to that yet. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
but I put that thought in their heads about where we could possibly do that.
Yeah.
But they were on board with it.
Yeah, okay, good. After looking at theirs a little bit more, they do have that, they have that one for grants and emergency repairs.
Mhm.
That's always in excess of what they actually use.
Yep.
And we have $5,000 extra in there for emergency repairs and that
Yeah.
kind of thing, so.
And there may be some other resources, so I think
Yeah,
we'll-
so there is availability.
they're in good shape.
There's availability in that part of the budget, there's availability for the, water sewer through, we had, during budgeting, we had said we were gonna, budget a certain amount for water and a certain amount for sewer, into reserves. It was $5,000 in water and $8,000 in sewer, so there's a little bit of wiggle room there too. And he has contingency money as
Right.
well budgeted, so there's a lot of wiggle room.
So I think we're in good shape.
I think we can,
We're in good shape to compensate
We'll
that.
go for safety.
yeah,
Yep,
go for
yep.
safety
And once that's
and
done, then what is the renewal on?
3 years.
Okay.
So it's every 3 years is the,
So we wouldn't pay this for another 3 years?
yeah.
But
So
it's
this is
the
a one-shot
same,
deal?
approximately the same amount every 3 years, so
Correct.
that would then have to be a line item.
Right, unless there ends up being something that comes up that's
Right,
better down the
right.
road.
Yeah.
I feel like technology is always
Evolving.
changing and
Sure.
evolving
Yeah.
and, it might be, 3 years down the road when we're getting ready to renew, there's a better service.
And it behooves us
than we're
to
getting
stay on
now.
top of it.
So, and these guys have been great with everything, that we have done with our, computer system and IT services. They're very quick to respond whenever we have a problem.
And then there's cybersecurity on our website through Alpha Omega. So he monitors that all the time and keeps that well up to date for any breaches, because that's another way in as well. So, and that's not through ABS per se.
Right.
Ready for,
A couple more things. Do we need we probably need a motion to approve the proposal.
okay, so
Unless you want to wait, but they can't, well, they can
No,
only
I-
hold that
for,
for 14 days.
yeah, so I would like a motion to approve the updating and upgrading of cybersecurity for the office, wastewater treatment plant, DPW, and the fire department. And Cindy Rumsey does and second by Jim Rumsey. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries to go ahead with that.
Just a couple more quick things. We'll be reading meters later this week, probably Wednesday or Thursday, and we'll be billing out Monday or Tuesday. We have collected about 92% of village taxes so far. And then I will be out of the office next Tuesday and Wednesday, but I'll be still in the area, so if there's an emergency, if there's an emergency.
I have you on speed dial.
So what is the normal percentage in the course of a year? Is 90%
For
good?
taxes?
100%, Jim,
Not- well,
100%.
We always get, we always are made whole from the county, so we re-levy our taxes to the county, and then they send us a check in March for what we did not receive in our normal tax season.
I see.
There's always,
There's a couple.
there's usually about a handful of taxes, maybe 10 that are left over that don't pay them.
So it's pretty good,
We usually get the majority of our taxes in before we have to re-levy, and then we get the remainder from the
Right.
county.
which is great.
Yeah, that's also that we don't have to do the whole foreclosure kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The county deals with all of that.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so, I would like a motion to approve abstract number, what number is it?
I believe it's four.
4. Abstract number 4. Cindy, second? Jim?
You get the financial.
Any comments or questions on the abstract? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. And then, financial report number 1. May I have a motion to approve financial report number 1? Jim, second. Cindy, any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, so quick with the updates. COVID-19 update, there is COVID in the land, Omicron and whatever lesser variants are. It's a sub-variant of BA.5 or something like that. If you will recall, we are part of the wastewater testing. They do detect levels of COVID in the wastewater, but when you look at the dashboard, we're still next to nothing. But there is COVID going around. Again, I ask people to follow protocols of washing hands. If you're sick, stay away, isolate yourself, don't go out in public, highly contagious. I was speaking with someone from Twigs, it's gone through the Twigs group and, other places, so just be aware of that. Okay, so FEMA emergency, I just filed some additional paperwork for the Halloween storm for our last project with the pump station. So I would just like it to be on record that I was able to fill that out 99% by myself and only had one question for the clerk. Okay, woo-hoo. FEMA COVID update. We have been remiss. We need to finish that.
I did get a lot of our
The details.
details into the spreadsheet.
It is so painful. So we need to do that either this week or
And
next.
Tracy scanned all of the documents.
Fabulous. So we are in good shape there. We just need to send it. McComas Fire Tower, if you didn't catch it, PBS, Tom Halleck did a segment on the McComas Fire Tower and the background story. We have put that on our website for people to access. I thought he did a really nice job, 7 or 8 minute segment.
So it's on the village website.
It's on the village website, so you can share that with your friends. I did speak with NYMER. We had the risk management fellow come out before we open it to the public. And these are all the suggestions they would like us to do. And I'm very happy to say that we are in very good shape. I was fearing for the worst. So we need to put up some wiring in the viewing platform and make sure that there are no sticky, pointy wires on the handrail going up. And then within a signage, they would like us to put down hours of operation. Note that you use it at your own risk. Put a health medical warning on there because it is 40 feet up. No accompanied minors under the age of 14 permitted, down from a discussion of age 18. So it's down to 14. No more than 5 people at a time allowed on the viewing platform, which is appropriate. It's only a 7x7 space and the stairs do take up some space there. And they did suggest that all persons waiting to climb the tower to remain outside a fenced area. So we're still waiting for fencing, a quote, the steel quote. And I am preparing to write a letter to the county to see if they will assist us in some of the costs associated with the tower. And there may be some additional grants. So we're awfully close to being fully paid. We are targeting a ribbon cutting the end of August. So Lord willing, we'll be looking at that. Okay, so that's any questions, comments about, and they have begun work on the kiosk, which is to the right of the tower and far enough back that it shouldn't interfere anymore than the tower does with right field, Jim.
Thank you.
So that's behind. So there was a crew out last Friday that really did a remarkable job in that wicked heat. Septic system erosion regulations, as you know, we submitted that to our attorneys. They will be sending us a memorandum of review within the next week. The other thing that was sent to the lawyers was to have a determination on the water lines for Edgemont Road. There was a water break a while back. We need to determine the ownership. We believe it's privately owned, and that would be billed accordingly, but just want to cross our T's and dot our I's because there are other lines that cross Edgemont Road that are village owned, so such as the septic and the line going from the fire hydrants. Okay, so that will be next week as well. Still on hold with the fire truck. It was confirmed that the fire department does not find it useful. So we're looking at alternatives, and I have a note into the Historical Society about that. Okay, under new business, we are delaying again the e-bike regulation, but I will throw it out there. New York State has laws for e-bikes that they are not allowed in areas of 40 miles an hour or higher. If that's the case within the village, those areas would be along State Route 8 and part of South Shore Road, which is 40 miles an hour. And we would have to pass a law allowing access for the bikes up to 40 miles an hour. That would allow bikes to go around the backside of the lake. So that's something to think about, but hopefully Trustee Smith will be back for that. Code violation is now public in the matter of the village with a violation against the Burnses and a pool. The judge has not issued his ruling formally, but Judge Murphy down in Wells did accept a guilty plea of 2 building code violations related to the Burnses fence not being properly installed and the lack of a pool alarm. He did issue a fine of $400 combined and required that the Burnses bring the fence into compliance by next month, which would be the 9th, or a plea deal is potentially vacated. So that means we would have to go back and see what further consequences there are, and we would have to go back to court for that. One of the reasons why we settled is that the cost of further litigating this with discovery and things like that would jack up the bill in, $10,000, $15,000, and it's ridiculous. I was able to provide a statement on behalf of the village, imploring the judge to further consider what he was doing. So that is part of the file, and he felt that he was not able to fine them more than $200 per violation, despite the fact that we have a local law 2008, local law number 1 of 2008, stating that each day is considered a new violation and that civil penalties could be imposed $200 per day per violation. So we'll.
So the judge in effect is to get it to the village.
Yes.
That's typical.
I think it sets a very dangerous precedent. So I have reached out, not that we can do anything in this case, but just to see how we can strengthen our laws, that this will not happen in the future. I was advised of one place where pool permits, you are not allowed to use the pool until you get the final occupancy cleared. And seeing as how the Burnses have been able to use their pool over the last couple seasons, I think that would behoove us to strengthen that. Not that we get a lot of pools, but drowning is one of the leading causes of death in children under the age of 5 and happens very, very quickly. And it's something not to take lightly. So we look forward to that final compliance being heard from the our CEO, our compliance enforcement officer by the 9th of August, and hoping that we won't have to go back. All right. So there was another matter that was informally brought to my attention down at Lake Pleasant Lodge. There is now a dock that appeared within the last couple weeks. There is a boat attached to that for rental, advertising rental. So the dock is on Lake Pleasant Motel property, which is owned by Glenn Bisworm. The dock is owned by Rick Swift. So when we had the pleasure of the company of our insurance man, we walked down there to determine how far away. So the concern was the dock is too close to the swimming area. Even though it's not up now, it's too close to the area in the person's opinion. So in speaking with the insurance fellow, it was determined that it has to be 8 feet from the border line. And so I've asked Mr. Bisworm to show on his survey where the property line is. And he said that he would make sure that the dock would be moved within 10 feet or more off of the property line, just to make sure that it's far enough back. So I thanked him and we wait for that.
8 feet from our swimming.
8 feet from our border line,
Yeah.
which is farther away.
Okay.
Right, so we have a roped in area and then there's additional water space around that. So this would be 8 feet from the border line, and Glenn said that he would make it 10 feet.
Okay.
So he would determine that this week. Okay, so in board roundtable, the grant for the engineering report for the parking lot, how that could be regraded down to the pavilion, that is being submitted on Friday, and then the downtown grant is also being submitted on Friday. And the WIA grant, looking at the generator and fixing the UV, what is that called? I should know. It's in lieu of chlorination,
Right.
changing it to UV.
Right.
So that upgrade, that has also been filed. And as a side note, our DEC representative called me and said, hey, are you gonna put in for a grant? So we were on top of that, and he said that chances of getting it are best this year, given ARPA funds that have been provided from the state and things like that. So we'll do that. And then the last thing is that the public workshop for consolidating planning board and zoning board of appeals is this week on Wednesday. In addition to that, there is an offering of training for planning boards and zoning boards of appeals that we will offer to our committee members, to the board members, because they are required to take training. And I would ask that either Crystal or Tracy, our deputy clerk, would attend as well.
This Wednesday at 4, right?
Yes, so that's when there's a public workshop meeting, so that we can make a recommendation and see how to move forward with that.
The
And-
training that you guys talking about is in September.
Right. So this would be after things would be in
Yeah.
place, right? So I think the timing is good as well, right? So we'll offer that to our board. All right, that's pretty much all I have. Anything else with the?
Question,
Yes.
And the Compass Fire Tower, we
Yes.
have the signage saying, use at your own risk.
Yes.
Can that signage be applied to the beach?
No, because that language for the beach is from the Department of Health.
The Department of Health says.
No
beach is
swimming.
closed, no swimming.
Correct.
And they have that anywhere?
The sign that's up at the beach is what it states in the law.
Right.
Or
That's-
is what it states in the law for bathing beaches.
Okay.
So we are required to post that sign verbatim in the laws, the municipal laws.
All right. So if someone's gonna go swimming next to the bridge,
Mm-hmm.
there's no sign there.
No.
And they're not allowed, not necessary to have a sign there,
No, because that's not a public bathing area.
but why don't we remove that as a public meeting area? Just leave it as,
Well, we would like to have a public beach
Yeah.
where we provide lifeguards and hopefully swimming lessons, Jim.
okay.
So the only reason why it's not there now is because we didn't have lifeguards. So we are trying to recruit additional lifeguards for next year.
Going forward, gotcha. All right.
Yeah, so that's why. If we gave it up, then it'd be really hard to,
Gotcha.
I heard the certification was like,
Maybe it could be something like that.
yes, we were offering that this year, and I think that we should. I was speaking with residents on, right off of South Shore Road, the Burkholts. They have a friend who certifies, does water safety. And so the thought was he could come up for a weekend and then we would invite our surrounding areas of
Yeah.
Wells and Arietta and Indian Lake and Blue Mountain, whoever wanted to come. And that way it would be right here and kids didn't have to travel as far. The last board roundtable is Trustee Cindy Rumsey and I were having a discussion with the fire department, and there is some confusion over some things that have just been done, the way it's been done for a long time, and then looking at our legal requirements and our OSC requirements of the interaction between the board and the volunteer fire department. So to that end, we are taking NICOM up on their offer to come to town and do a public meeting on how village fire departments are run. The caveat with that is, of course, it's at their availability. And
At night.
at NICOM's availability, they were saying probably in September, John Mancini would come, very, very knowledgeable lawyer, and that we would have it open to other villages. So the nearest village to us would be Northville, that they could come, their board and their fire department. Those are towns. So the laws are a little bit different. Some of them are applicable. And so we would make that open to Wells, to Lake Pleasant, to, anybody who wanted to come could avail themselves of that opportunity.
So we don't get too late.
We have sent in a request.
Yeah, I sent them, thank you.
Yes, yep. All right, anything else? All right,
Move for Joe?
yes, please. Cindy, in lieu of Mark Doniker, second, thirds, and fourths. All right, so the meeting ends as of 10 o'clock, 8:10. All right, thank you very much for your participation.
Yeah.